So, my name is Sean Metz, and this is my video for Milestone 1. So, first task I was assigned is Shield Bug Fix. As a designer, I'd like for the shield to shut down if the player runs out of energy instead of continuing to protect the player. This one is complete. So, the subtask is fix the check that's supposed to re-enable damage to the player after the player runs out of energy. So, if I use my shield here, it should shut off after I run out of energy. So, I'm going to use up some of my energy. And the shield is gone, and I've taken damage after the enemy has bumped into me, and the shield has gone. So, let's shield bug fix. That one is completed and done. Next task is abilities menu rework. As a player, I would like sub-menus to work and only be on screen when in use in order to avoid clutter. So, first subtask, readjust point values for all abilities, choosing certain abilities to provide buffs. So if I go into the ability menu here, we can see I have 15 points, so Dash and Overload both being 5 and 10 points. Telekinesis and Shield do not have a boost to their abilities, so they do not have a point value, and they are enabled by default. This is just primarily there to have the information for them. So Dash has been adjusted as it pretty much just adjusts the speed, so it's been adjusted to 5 points. Overload is very strong, kills all enemies nearby you, so it has been changed to use half points instead, or half energy instead, so 10 points. So re-enable all abilities by default. So if I back out of here, I could use the shield, I could use the dash. I just used overload. And when energy builds back up, I can pick up a box and I can throw it to demonstrate telekinesis. Change the ability menu to provide buffs to certain abilities as opposed to just enabling them. So to demonstrate this, I'm going to use a dash here, which should be currently buffed. And if I go and turn it off, I dash much smaller range. Add checks to ensure the ability menu or ability menu button are not on screen when they shouldn't be. So if I go to the controls, there's no ability menu button, nor is the ability menu there. Same thing with options, and etc., etc. So that is the ability menu's rework. That is done and completed. So, energy refinement. As a player, I'd like to use abilities to help me traverse levels. This would be easier to do with a faster energy replenishment. This one is done and completed. And I adjusted it based on feedback. So decrease the wait time for energy to start refilling from 5 seconds to 2. So I'm going to let my energy refill fully here, and then I'm going to use an ability, and after 2 seconds it should start refilling energy. So I'm using, and then after 2 seconds here, it starts refilling. Increase the rate at which energy refills by a factor of 2. Previously, it was a lot slower, so I increased the rate at which it refills energy by 2 to where it goes much faster. So we can see how fast it is here if I use all the energy and that starts to refill. And there you go. You can see it is very fast. That is energy refinement done and completed. The next task is airport level refinement. As a player, I'd like to have a sense of direction and actual objectives to complete in a level in order to feel more engaged and challenged. So, adjust level layout to create more engaging obstacles for the player to avoid and conquer. So in this case here, I filled this room with more rubble, more obstacles, stuff like that the player can choose to kind of pass through and under, watching out for these propellers to dodge them, and dealing with the enemy on the way. Fix issue allowing enemies to phase through walls to get to the player. So to demonstrate this, I'm going to try to lead this enemy off to where he'd be able to phase through a wall if he wanted to come get me. And as you can see, he just walks around the wall. Add more enemies to key points on the map to challenge the player further. So as you can see early on there, I was hit by a lot of enemies, but to demonstrate this further, I'm gonna just kind of detail what I've got. So, one enemy spawns in the hangar over there. We had a lot of the enemies follow and attack us from these sections over here. There were 2 spawned over here and 4 in there. Add objectives to the level, such as kill all enemies and collect an item of interest. So, I've killed all the enemies now, And for me to progress, I need to pick up this orange briefcase. But before that, create a model to represent the item of interest. This is the item of interest, and the model is a little orange briefcase. So this item of interest is picked up when I walk into it, and as you can see, since I've completed all the objectives there, the big red wall that was over there blocking off the portal is gone, meaning I can now finish the level. So that is the airport level refinement. It is done and completed. So the next task is the ability tutorial refinement. So if I don't do that, if I load up the tutorial and lower the volume, we have a new tutorial area over here that's been reworked. So as a player, I'd like time to figure out the part of the tutorial I'm on and not be rushed by enemies from other sections. So first subtask, add triggers to each area of the tutorial, which will be tied into preventing enemies from other areas from getting to the player. So, as you can see, when I get up here, you can see enemies in the other room, and he's not currently moving towards me, as there is a trigger blocking him from being able to reach me. Readjust the tutorial layout to ensure the player has more room for each aspect to understand them better. So I've got a little sign here giving me a hint on what I should do, and another thing here, floating text to better explain how I'm supposed to get across this gap. You can see that over here as well. I've got plenty of room to work around with. The enemy still cannot reach me. You can see here, this is an enemy. You can kill him to make things easier. Click on him to shoot him, or use telekinesis to throw a box at him. So I can throw this box at him if I wanted, or I could just shoot him and kill him. And now I could continue on here, which has another warning me that there's an enemy that I have to kill, and dodging shock traps to be able to get to the rest of the area. So that's ability tutorial refinement. That is done and completed, and my final task is the rework tutorial area. This one's also done and completed. As the player, I would like a more directed tutorial experience that just focuses on the basics so that I can learn the game quickly and move on. Previously, the tutorial went over all abilities, but now it just goes over the basics like movement, telekinesis to throw an object, how to kill enemies, etc. Remove extra tutorial elements and focus on just movement, shooting, and menus. So it's just focused on movement and shooting, and everything else, like using the overload and the shield, has been removed. Separate each task in the tutorial and block the player's progression until the task is completed. So, as you can see here, the progression here is to get across this gap here, which I've already passed, which it tells me how to do. And then here, it gives me an enemy to demonstrate that I can kill and should kill him. And then once I've done all that, I can pass through here and dodge this enemy as well. Add additional art assets from art team throughout the level for added detail. So as you can see here, we've got lockers and workbenches strewn throughout this next upcoming segment from the art team. And you can see the enemies are going to try to kill me as I get in here to show off these art. So as you can see, here are lockers from the art team and the workbenches. So that is the rework tutorial area task. That one is done and completed, and thank you.
Hello, I am Matthew from Five Guys Games and Fries, and today I'll be demonstrating my tasks. So first off, we will open the build from the Perforce Depot right here. Once we open it, it will take us into the main menu here. And that's where we will go to our first task that says rework sewer into railway/sewer. And it says, as a player, I'd like to travel through an intricate railway with moving train cars. So if we jump into the build, we you go into the level select, go to the sewer. First off, you'll start off by seeing this is the sewer. You must reach the end to go to the next level. So you shoot this. Here is where you enter the sewer. There's rooms, walls, trash bags, bottles. I made a pipeway right here to tell the player which way to go. And through here is where you will see the train cars that you must get through in order to exit to the next level. The first subtask for this task says rework the walls to be more diverse and linear. So you'll notice that before the walls were a bit more small and had a very wide open space for the player to travel. And here we made it to where the walls are thinner and smaller, so the player knows exactly where to go. And then as you go along, you'll see I made this a little bit less open as well. Next, it says I will make the train cars moving make sense logically. So what I did for that you'll see that I made them, compared to the last time, they were rather fast on both ends. So I made it shoot forward fast, but it gives the player more time on the recovery, so you can dash past them. I struggled right there, but you can dash past them. It gives you a few more seconds. Next, for the next subtask, it says make the roof out of planes rather than cubes. So what I did for the roof was I went in and I changed the height of it, so that way when the player looks up and down, you don't go through the roof anymore. Even when you jump, you got plenty of space to move vertically. And that is it for that task. Moving on, we have the text objects task that says, as a player, I'd like to have the tutorials text be objects. So you'll notice that I left one at the beginning of the sewer. And then if we hop into we exit, up into the hospital, we come in, you'll see that the hospital says this is the hospital, start by breaking boards to enter. So next we have the text objects task. It says, as a player, I'd like to have tutorials text be objects. So if you go into the game, you can go over to this right here at the beginning of this level. It says, this is the hospital, start by breaking the boards to enter. Next, it says, This is an enemy. Be careful not to touch him. He hurts. Shoot to kill him. So it's telling you to shoot these enemies over here. And the final tutorial on this level tells you about the other mechanic, which is the enemy nest. And the sign says, this is an enemy nest. You shoot it to kill it. And so then we go into the first subtask that states add any floating text into objects to make better sense. So that's what I did. What I did for that was I made a sign, as you could see before. So you'll see I made it into signs like this, and that's on both of my levels. I also added the welcome signs, but I haven't finished them yet. The next subtask states make the text a world space so that the player can't see it from anywhere. So what I did for that is I just made it to where it can only be seen from both sides of the sign. I made it very small, so when you go through, you can't see it from behind walls. You can just see it from both sides of the sign. So if we go, say, into here, we turn around, you notice you can't see the text of the other objects from there. And you can't see the one outside from in here. Next task we have is the take metrics out of the tutorial level. So previously when we went into the sample scene, aka the tutorial level, this away, it takes us straight into it. Previously there was some white objects here that would tell you like the metrics, and as you can see before they were there, now they are gone along with the text that describes it. The user story for that task states take the metrics, and as a player I would like to see just the tutorial. So if you're doing the game, you'll notice that the metrics aren't there, and that it's just the stuff that tells you about each mechanic in the game, such as the save mechanic, the boxes, the death zones, along with a second tutorial area. The sign that says find a way across this gap. So and then this is all the tutorial stuff. And that's all of my tasks.
Hello and welcome to my stand-up this milestone. Show off my basement level refinement. Shall tell folks this. I have tech refinement, my refinement of the options menu, refinement of pause, refinement of advancements, and finally level population. Start off with the options. Mine work, the criteria were to make the master the max point for all the sliders, and to make sure that they are reflected. That's so don't know why that happened. That's odd. What in the world? Oh, okay, there. And now to show forest. There's some issues. Alright, well that was my basement level refinement. Alright, next. Or not, that was not my basement. That was options menu. Alright, next. It is my basement's level refinement, is what I was trying to say. Which is freeing the boxes from a power group, make you have to shoot something to reach a box, rearrange generators to launch, add sparks, add a way to reset, add spooky background music. Yeah, I don't... Saw sparks there. First is to get the thing from there. Oh, you know what? Enemy refinement. Enemy attack refinement. Adding a particle effect. I don't know why that's being pushed up. And adding a timer. Both accomplished. Oh gosh, I need to... turn that all the way down for me. Yeah, it glitches out a bit. It wasn't before. I don't know why it is now. There we go. That's the second generator turned on. Take one of these yellow squares with me so I can shoot it at those things up there. Those twos. Yeah. That's a good way to show off this. Boom. Way to bring it back. Why don't we... Wait. There should have been... There's the second one. Okay. I don't know why I didn't come... I don't know why I didn't go back before. And it's gone. You know, we got a second one though. There we go. Oh jeez, it fell. It's not perfect. I don't know why I can't. I don't know why I can't hit this generator right now. Yatta! There we go. But yeah, for my level population, here's the skeletons I added to make it more dangerous, or to show the danger. That's the more accurate statement. Next, this one, you gotta be able to get some distance for this generator, so you gotta charge up your telekinesis to max. Yeah, okay, hang on. Getting stuck. Okay. There we go. Before I go, oh, there's the portal that appeared. Here's the new improvements menu. That's just health by 15. That's all we can do right now. Go through. Oh, that's right. There's a glitch here. Wait, no, I got rid of that. Okay. Okay. Oh, thank goodness, that's working. Ugh. Yeah, remove ability button. Advancements. Show present information to player, cost value next. Center around representation of the player. Make sure progress goes across levels. I showed most of that. Sadly, that that glitch for my levels for some reason. I guess I'll have to make someone else make a proper build. But yeah, that's me for right now.